For actors, getting a role of a superhero is unlike any other. What these individuals had to endure to make the grade is almost unthinkable.
I know, right?
Some things they do are simply outrageous, as you'll see.
This drink, I like it. Another!
We're grateful that they do these things, however, as it makes for incredible cinema. Here are some actors that really took a beating just to land a role that they desired. Just a second. We know that you see that big red subscribe button, so before we begin, click it and never be left out of anything CBR again. You won't regret it.
Guess I'll just have to trust you.
Hugh Jackman, Wolverine. X-Men is a unique Marvel series. The story of these mutants is that they're regarded as abominations and a threat to society who mostly look out for each other. Wolverine, as played by Hugh Jackman, is really a lone wolf who makes his own rules. If you've ever seen an X-Men film starring Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, you've most likely seen him without a shirt on. It doesn't take much thought to realize that Hugh is extremely healthy and strong. Ripped, shredded, cut, buff, jacked, all of these descriptions suit him well.
What kind of monster are you? The Wolverine.
Achieving this impressive build did not come easy for Mr. Jackman. Number one, the diet he had to endure would almost seem like a punishment to most. He was eating only steamed chicken with no salt, steamed spinach, vegetables, and if he wanted to treat himself, he'd have a little brown rice on the side. This was all he ate for months. We also must consider that he was also doing what's called intermittent fasting. This method requires the individual to refrain from eating for 16 hours and then gorge 5,000 calories in 8. Sounds damaging, but studies have shown fasting can have tremendous benefits in terms of weight loss and building muscle mass. If this wasn't difficult enough, he had to train during the time he wouldn't eat. What can you say though? Results are results, and Jackman's efforts paid off.
I am Iron Man.
Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man. Similar to DC's Batman, Iron Man is a rich super genius who lives far from society. He builds his own weapons and suit that is seemingly impenetrable. In the latest installments of the Marvel Cinematic Universe films, Robert Downey Jr. plays the part of Tony Stark. Mr. Downey is a bit older than your average superhero. He's also a bit smaller. The suit he builds is essential to Iron Man's success in toppling tyranny. Let it be known, however, that the man inside the suit is anything but a shrimp. What was Downey's secret as to how he packed on 25 pounds of lean muscle? Well, besides hiring a trainer named Brad Bose to help him through the proper diet and assist him at the gym in various workouts, it was actually the Chinese martial art known as Wing Chun that made such a specific difference. The Hollywood mogul incorporated his knowledge of Wing Chun philosophy into his already arduous workout, knowing full well the benefits. Wing Chun was made popular by none other than Bruce Lee, another small but powerful man. It isn't just about fighting though, it involves practicing patience and meditation as well.
Well, you're not wrong.
This gave Downey Jr. the right attitude and motivated him through the toughest parts of his workout. He may be over 50, but you couldn't tell if you looked at him, could you?
I'm gonna make some tea.
Paul Rudd, Ant-Man. If you're more than just a superhero fan, you probably know Paul Rudd to be a very talented actor.
Welcome to Baskin Robbins. Would you like to try our mango fruit blast?
Having appeared in movie genres that lean more towards comedy and or drama, the last place we ever expected to see him would be in a superhero movie. Alas, he was eventually cast in a superhero film, Marvel's Ant-Man. Scott Lang is the real name of the Ant-Man, one of Marvel's first heroes. He's a man who possesses a mechanical costume that he uses to shrink himself down to the size of an ant. When we think of ants, we don't really associate the word power with them, and surely not the word super. So what in the world did Paul Rudd do to prepare for a role in which he had to replicate the stature of an insect? First, he cut himself off from alcohol and all carbohydrates. That might have been difficult for a man who has a pub in his basement. If you ask Mr. Rudd what he did as far as working out, he'll simply tell you, and I quote, lots of rolls and flips and that kind of stuff. Come on, every superhero has got to be able to flip and roll. All jokes aside, he did also stick to a strenuous circuit training discipline, becoming a much more agile and acrobatic Ant-Man.
I should have trusted you all along.
You're confusing me with somebody else.
Halle Berry, Catwoman. Even if by chance you happen to catch Halle Berry at a passing glance, it isn't hard to tell that the woman has taken good care of her body over the course of her career. In 2004, DC Comics' Catwoman hit the big screen. Fitting into the Catwoman costume that seems to be airtight would be difficult for anybody. Halle had grown up eating well and exercising, but attaining a more muscular frame while remaining flexible and slender would be a new challenge. You'd be surprised to know what it took to get this part. The famed actress hired noteworthy Hollywood trainer Harley Pasternak, who really didn't give her the strictest of diets as one may assume. Rather, However, the approach Harley chose for Halle was rather lax, as there were only a few strict dietary rules she had to abide by. There of course was the workout part, but it wasn't anything too extreme. Berry did average workouts 5 times a day. Simple bicep curls, lunges, push-ups, and all other typical exercises seemed to work just fine. So what is it that really puts her on our list? This seemingly mundane practice lost her 40 pounds in only 4 months, just after giving birth to a child. Wow. That alone might make her even more of a superhero than any artist could even come up with.
I'm Batman.
Christian Bale, Batman. The Batman Begins series starring Christian Bale is a treat for all fans of comics and superheroes. Mr. Bale had some big wings to fill when he took the part, both physically and aesthetically. In case you didn't know, Christian Bale started a movie called The Machinist, where he had to lose weight and appear frail for that part. He had gotten down to as low as 120 pounds. Then, only 6 months later, he was weighing in at 230 pounds when the production of Batman Begins started. This exceeded the size director Christopher Nolan was looking for, so Bale shed the weight yet again to reach 190 pounds to play the infamous Bruce Wayne. If that isn't superhuman, we don't know what superhuman means. Of course, people all over were raising their eyebrows. How could this regular guy gain over 100 pounds and then lose 40 in only 6 months? Accusations of illegal substances were thrown at him immediately. This isn't the case. Hard work and muscle memory. That's what made this possible. You see, Christian Bale had played roles before in which he had to work out extensively to fit a part, even hiring a trainer. He was no stranger to the weight room, so when he went back to the gym, his muscle memory kicked in, and getting ripped again was just another trip down memory lane.
Oh, hello.
Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool. Deadpool is quite different from most other superheroes, and so they needed the right actor to play the part. Ryan Reynolds, naturally equipped with a sharp wit and a sense of humor, was the ideal fit to play the wisecracking Marvel character. He wasn't equipped with great strength, however, and that was the issue at hand. Most people go to the gym just to maintain a healthy lifestyle. According to Ryan Reynolds' personal trainer Don Saladino, it was all business for them. A typical workout usually entails working out 1 to 2 muscles a day. Each muscle is usually worked in 3 different ways with 3 sets at comfortable weight. Each set usually requires 10 repetitions. The soon-to-be Deadpool would have no time for comfort in this situation.
I know, right?
The trainer had Ryan doing warm-ups that would suffice as a complete exercise for most, including things like bear crawls and Turkish get-ups. He even did a second warm-up. Then, when it was time for weight training, instead of going the traditional route, Reynolds did 4 sets of the heaviest weights he could handle, but only did 4 repetitions, literally shredding his muscles apart. And as if that wasn't enough, Mr. Reynolds also had the responsibility of taking care of his newborn child. In the end, it all paid off, and we got to see a great flick. Super!
I grew up in Kansas, General.
Henry Cavill, Superman. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's superstar actor Henry Cavill acting as Superman. After what Henry had to do to become our present-day Superman, you wouldn't be foolish to mistake him for the actual comic book hero. Contrary to what most people probably think, Cavill wasn't exactly confident in his ability to play Superman. He felt he needed to earn the role. This was a mental hurdle he had to hop. Things got even worse for him when he had an accident during training. The story goes that he was trying to squat 305 pounds and he reportedly collapsed under the weight. Ouch! Henry's trainer, Mark Twight, wouldn't give up on him though. The actor was back at the squat rack with that same 305 pounds on his shoulders that almost killed him. His trainer was by his side watching intensely as Henry faced his biggest challenge. What happened next, according to Twight, was unbelievable. As Cavill began to rise, with all the will and strength that he had, he finally beat the 305 pounds and rose to his feet. After that, not only did Twight notice a change in Henry, but Henry himself did as well. After overcoming such an obstacle, Henry said that he felt he accomplished the impossible and was now worthy of filling the shoes of the beloved Clark Kent.
Oh, I don't think you've ever known a woman like me.
Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. It should first be mentioned that Miss Gadot was already a hero for her homeland of Israel, where she was a member of their army. For that, we here at CBR truly commend her. It should also be mentioned that this particular soldier said that training for the part of Wonder Woman was more difficult than training for the Israeli army, quote, by far. That's really saying something. We were curious as to why this was, and now after diligent research, we can understand such a statement. So we've been going through these actors, and working out and training is clearly something that they all have to do. No big surprise there. Gal Gadot's training was quite different when compared to her comic book cast colleagues. In only 6 months of training, it was a wonder to see what the new Wonder Woman was capable of. She had to learn how to ride a horse. Try and tell anyone that's never ridden a horse that controlling a 2,000 beast between your legs is easy. Gal tells us that it was downright painful. In this same 6 months, she also had to learn how to sword fight. Tacking on these 2 job requirements to an already hectic workout schedule is as unbelievable as it is super. Talk about earning a role.
I am mighty.
Chris Hemsworth, Thor. Since Chris Hemsworth is actually a native of Australia, the old adage that he's the thunder from down under applies perfectly to him. The fact that he plays the god of thunder is just the icing on the cake. Taking on a role of a superhero is one thing, but taking on the role of a Norse god just might be a little more demanding. Google a picture of what Chris Hemsworth looked like before he got the part and then find one of him after the film. The man literally inflated himself. Obviously, workouts had to be insanely difficult, but what we found to be more impressive was the diet plan he was on. Chris had to eat up to 6,000 calories a day. That's nearly triple what's considered healthy. He was stuffing his face every 2 to 3 hours. This is what he had to do every day. Some might consider that self-torture. He even commented on this during preparation for the role, saying, "I feel like I've been busy, but all I've been doing is eating all day." We're definitely impressed with the results, but we have to say it's equally as impressive to be able to consume so much food so often. So remember, before Chris Hemsworth became a superhero, he was already a super eater.
Spider-Boy.
Spider-Man.
Tom Holland, Spider-Man. We hope you aren't afraid of spiders because our featured selection just happens to be your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Or should it be Spider-Boy? We had to ask ourselves that question because what's unique about this Spider-Man is that he's a high school kid. What else is unique is one of the things he had to do for the part, but we'll save that one for last. Tom is the youngest Spider-Man in the saga of Spidey flicks. Unfortunately for him, his trainers didn't consider his age as they put him through extremely difficult workouts. Out of all the actors we've mentioned so far, the only one to ever don an altitude mask was the 21-year-old. These are devices that make it harder to breathe. Basically, he choked himself so he wouldn't choke playing the role. He also had to learn how to box, and if you've ever been near the ring, you know immediately whether or not boxing is for you. Finally, Tom Holland actually attended a New York City high school for 3 days, acting as a student for role preparation. Tom was supposed to keep it a secret, but he let it out and the students began rumors and thought he was crazy. Just imagine the looks on their faces when they see the same crazy kid acting as Spider-Man. Priceless.
Gotta say, that's awesome.
If you're looking for workout tips and are trying to become superhuman yourself, look up these actors for more detail on exactly what workouts they partook in and the diets they followed. They really put in an extraordinary effort for their career. Would you do half of the stuff mentioned in this video? A difficult task to take, no doubt, but anything is possible. Thanks for watching another CBR video, and subscribe and comment for your voice to be heard.